6.01 Clash of Civilizations. This goes along with your Human Odyssey reading pages 238 to 249 and your student guide pages 153 to 155. Lesson Introduction. Clash of Civilizations. Gold, glory, and God. The Spanish and Portuguese conquistadors went to the New World to search for wealth and glory and to spread their religion. They were willing to go to great lengths to achieve their goals. Guns and germs helped them defeat great empires, but the conquerors could not have predicted the long-term and often unintended consequences of their actions. Farming changed on 3 continents. Diets changed. Thousands of people willingly crossed the oceans to start new lives. Millions died of disease and abuse, and millions were kidnapped and forced to cross the oceans as slaves. We still feel the consequences today. In the early 16th century, Spain, the greatest European power, was about to clash with the most powerful civilizations of the Americas, the empires of Aztecs and Incas. The New World of the Americas offered Spain fabulous wealth, an opportunity to spread the Catholic faith, and a chance to fulfill dreams of glory. The intrepid Spanish soldiers, or conquistadors, were few, and they were awed by the cities and civilizations that they found. But superior weapons and European diseases toppled empires already weakened by internal division. The Spanish took what they wanted in the Americas and destroyed the Aztec and Inca empires. Lesson Objectives. Many of these objectives are covered in detail in the readings from your Human Odyssey book, pages 238 to 249. Define conquistador. Describe the characteristics of the Aztec and Inca empires that contributed to their decline. Identify Francisco Pizarro and summarize the events that led to the decline of the Inca Empire. Identify Hernan Cortes and summarize the events that led to the decline of the Aztec Empire. Identify Montezuma. Conquistador. Conqueror is the English meaning of the Spanish word conquistador. Conquistadors fought for glory, God, and gold. Hernan Cortes. Depending on the source, whether it is an English source or a Spanish source, you may see Cortes spelled with an S at the end or a Z. Either way, it is the same person. Hernan Cortes was the Spanish soldier who overthrew the Aztec Emperor. The Aztecs and the Spanish. The Aztecs welcomed the Spanish with gifts. The Spanish recruited allies in Mexico from among the peoples conquered by the Aztecs. Montezuma was the Aztec emperor. The Spanish took him hostage. Smallpox was the European disease that badly weakened the Aztecs. The Aztecs saw steel weapons, armor, horses, cavalrymen for the first time when the Spanish arrived. Francisco Pizarro. Pizarro was the Spanish conqueror of the Inca Empire. Disease and civil war ravaged the Inca Empire and made it easy prey for the Spanish. Pizarro did not treat the Incan Emperor Atahualpa nicely. He imprisoned him and then had him executed. Why were the Spanish so easily able to conquer the Aztecs and the Incas? The Aztecs and the Incas trusted the Spanish. They lacked modern weapons and they were unable to resist European diseases. The Incan and Aztec civilizations suffered from fighting within their peoples. Contrasting civilizations. The Spanish and the Inca. If the Incas had been more wary of the Spanish and taken greater measures to protect themselves, Atahualpa might not have been executed. If the Incas had united to oppose the Spanish conquerors, they might have been able to defeat them because they outnumbered the conquerors and knew that rugged mountainous terrain. But nothing could have prevented the terrible toll from European diseases. And then the Spanish and the Aztec. If the Aztecs had not trusted the Spanish so much and tried to please them by giving them all they asked for, the Aztecs might have been able to defeat the Spanish because they knew the territory and outnumbered the invaders. But nothing could have prevented the terrible toll from European diseases. So as you can see, there was a lot of strife and fighting, but European diseases were a main cause of the decline of both civilizations. Bernal Diaz. This slide is not a question on your student guide, but just some background information for the following pages. Bernal Diaz del Castillo was a Spanish conquistador who participated as a soldier in the conquest of Mexico under Hernan Cortes and, late in his life, wrote an account of the events. This is on your student guide, page 155. Consider the source. The Aztecs claim that the Spanish killed Montezuma. We must always consider the source when sifting through past documents and archaeological finds. Why might this not really be a true history of the death of Montezuma? It might not be a true history because it's only the victor's account and it was written 50 years after the events. To truly document history, we need primary sources from both sides. Cortez wanted Montezuma to address the people because he wanted Montezuma to get his people to desist from their attacks with an offer from us to evacuate Mexico. By this point, Montezuma no longer believes Cortez's false words and promises. Montezuma requested of his people, in very affectionate language, a cessation of hostilities in order that we might quit the city. Accounts as written by Bernal Diaz. According to Bernal Diaz, Montezuma died when 3 stones and an arrow struck him in the head, arm, and leg. The king, when thus wounded, refused all assistance, and we were unexpectedly informed of his death. How else might Montezuma have died? The Spanish may have killed him because they had no further use for him. Even Bernal Diaz says that the Aztecs attacked them because they believed the Spanish had killed Montezuma. Bernal Diaz said Montezuma was the best king Mexico had ever been governed by. The people reacted to Montezuma's death and dead body with an exclamation of sorrow. They now attacked us in our quarters with the greatest violence and threatened us that within the space of 2 days we should pay with our lives the death of their king. And this comes to the end. After landing his invasion forces on the shore of some country, the 16th century Spanish conquistador Hernan Cortez would immediately burn his own boats. He was sending his army a message: we can't turn back. Either we succeed here or we die here. Excuses were not an option. And this statement was said by Lou Holtz. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a great day.